Alright, so here we are, pulling up at 1800, establishing shot to be sure we're all on the same page with the address. First thing we did immediately is go ahead and, assuming everything's okay, take the camera and run it up through the center of the house from the front clean out. Going up through the center of the house. There's 3 fittings underneath it, and the very furthest one from here, the back fitting, is the one that we're mostly concerned with. It's the one that has traditionally been backing up. Let me scrub through it a little bit. We head up the pipe, move it along, and here we come to the first fitting. A little bit of crud in it, not too atypical. Just bump it a little bit and finally push it out of the way. And then on up towards under the house, we'll come to the second fitting. This fitting appears to be the one I'm guessing for the kitchen here. It's got a bunch of grease in it. Again, not too atypical. Pretty standard looking for comparison. I mean, it's just exactly the same fitting as the first one and the last one. Looks like it's all made up. I'm not sure exactly how it could get much better than that. And we push it on up a little bit and finally come to the third fitting, the one that is mostly of concern to us, and it's full of sewage. You can see the fitting edges here behind all the sewage that's backed up into that fitting. It looks like it's completely clogged up. I'm a little bit hesitant to assume anything, so we grab the camera and go around to the left side to the very back clean out. That's right, the back fitting. Run the camera up through it, and just to double check and be sure we're all looking at the right thing, it's backed up in that same fitting from the side too. We're pushing sewage that's been backed up into the pipe there. There's where the drop is for, I assume, the back toilets, the master toilets. It's pretty well full of water and sewage in this back clean out too. I tried to push some out of the way and we're just basically underwater on it. So go ahead and, thinking I'm maybe not on the right page. So we go ahead and back out of this one and move it around to the other side at the very back fitting and run it up through that one again, just to be 100% that we're correct on this. Run it up under the same, towards the same fitting from the other side, which would be the north side of the house. And we can see it's been backed up a little bit. It's carried a little bit of stuff up there. Immediately run into dirty water because it's been backed up and we're pushing raw sewage and dirty water in it. So pretty much 100% showing that that fitting has been backed up again, even though presumably nobody's been using it. It is in fact backed up as soon as we pulled up. So what I basically did is pull the cameras on out, go around to the very back of the fittings, the very back clean out, and opened it up and got my hose out of the truck and ran it down the backup clean out, the back clean out that goes straight through from the very back of the house in the middle. And basically it just, everything just immediately washed out as soon as we bumped it with some hose and water. It easily came through, cleaned the entire pipe out. We could see the water coming out of it. So after we washed it all out from the back with the hose, we're back at the front here and running the camera back up underneath the front of the building towards the back. There's the first fitting as we saw to begin with. Here's the second fitting coming up, the one that goes to the kitchen, I assume, the middle one. And then we go on to the fitting. This is the fitting here that was full of sewage in the first part of the film. We can see now that it's all been cleaned out just by basically running a hose through it. I'm running it on up just to show you that this is the clean out at the very back where we ran the hose in and washed it out. All this part of the fitting, this is the one in question. It all appears to be made up. I don't see any big gaps. I don't see any broken pipes, no root intrusion. Nothing real significant stands out about it. But clearly it was backed up when we got here. So, and again, this is the one that has traditionally been backed up. I'm a little bit hesitant to make any assumptions about it just looking at it like this. So what I went ahead and did was go around to the side, back to the north side, and try to run the camera up through it to see if there was any particular instances that we could find that were problematic. Here we go again from the north side coming in. There's where it has been backed up. It's all cleaned out now, of course, because I ran the hose through it. Here's coming into the side. Well, no, that's the vent, I guess. And here we're coming up on the fitting that was backed up before from, like I say, the north side. Here we are going directly in from the north side into the fitting that was backed up before. This is the fitting in the middle of the building. You can kind of see up. This one is going to be where the clean out was. Tried to get a close-up of the edges of the fittings and see if I could find any places where there's divots or low spots or holding water or anything like that, and it's really not easy to tell from inside the pipe, but it all looks pretty good. And of course, when you go across the fitting, then you're going out towards the other way. It's hard to get it to go back down the pipe from there. So to go ahead and inspect the downhill part of the pipe, we're going to go ahead and pull that and go around to the back of the building with the camera where I ran the hose through to wash it out, and put the camera through there to see if we can find any spots where it might be holding water or have a rough spot through the back end of that fitting. I went ahead and run around. There's the back one. It's actually a vertical one because it comes up like you saw from the front. Goes straight down from the back of the building now. Coming up on, here's your fitting again, the fitting in question. That'd be the front of it right here. All looks made up good. At the back of it looks made up good. I will go ahead and run it up towards the center so you can get some perspective on it. You can still see water running through these other two fittings. From the back all the way through both of those other fittings, they look essentially the same. And here's the clean out at the front where we went through initially. That's all the way through the building. And then it comes out and drops, which has never provided a problem. You can still see water running slowly through the entire system. Looks to be all the fittings appear to look almost exactly the same from an interior point of view. Here we're backing up through the second fitting again from the front. Here it is, the second fitting, and all the way to the very back fitting. Again, this one's the one in question. All appears to be made up. All appears to be level. I think the camera's a little off kilter here instead of the fitting. But to be sure, I go ahead and hook the hose back up at the back so we can see water running through the system, basically through this back fitting, the one in question again, to see if it holds water or if it looks like it's off kilter. Water, of course, finds its own level, so it immediately should show you if anything is significantly problematic in here as far as the running part of the pipe. You can see the water just goes pretty much directly down. I haven't got the water running full blast yet, but as it starts to flow, you can see that it's pretty much in the center of the pipe. That's just a slow flow of water from the hose at the back running through here, just to see if there's any way that it looks like it's holding or backing up or off kilter, and it really doesn't. My camera's a little off kilter, but if you squint a little bit, it just kind of it spreads out into that fitting, but I would assume that's normal. You can see it's running real strong through the pipe part of it, but then when it hits those two sides, it slows it down a little bit. Possibly that part where it's slowing it down is caused by some kind of a fitting that's backwards in there or something along that lines. I don't have a better reason to actually explain it, but I guess maybe if we all put our heads together and think about it, maybe somebody else has a better idea on how to alleviate the conditions of it at the very least. Because like I say, it was definitely backed up when we got there again, and we easily unstopped it with water. So not anything real significant, possibly just a problem with the levelness of the fitting would be the only thing I could say. So give me any feedback you've got. I appreciate you.